If anybody's there, give me a second. All right. So we'll just kind of hang out for a second and see if anybody is going to join. So we're going to be looking at some more online code challenges today. Hope everyone is doing well. So as you could see in the title, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the length of the last word and then a reverse the number. And I can't remember. Hey, Nico, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. So like you see in the title, we're going to do two more challenges. Length of the last word and then reverse the number. I think I did done length of the last word, so I may go through that one pretty quickly, but reverse the number I don't think I've done before. But while you're here, let me show you what the solution of this is. So yesterday we were looking and we did an example and we had this as an elif down here. So I changed this to an or, and it finally dawned on me. Let's comment this out. So with this being here, this just needs, since this is a nested if and else, so it's if it's this path, it's else. If it's still not that, else. So this just needs to be here. And boom. Just like so. Boom, boom, and now get rid of this. So if it's a nested if, it's an and. It's a second condition. So yeah, it was eluding me yesterday. So now this completely works, and we have a very compact solution here. So if you're just jumping on, we're going to be looking at last word and reversing a number. So let me get around the examples. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm already at the end of. So hope everybody kind of likes these challenges. Let's see. Not there, not there, not there. So the last word, let's kind of go through some of these examples. And it's kind of the same technique, and this is what I really want to drive home, is I want everybody to get kind of comfortable with these things. And because you'll see, does that work? Yep. That one, boom. And then this is the last case. Boom and boom. I think there's a helicopter flying by, so I don't think the microphone should pick that up. But in case it does, no tornado, no bad weather. Well, actually, it's rainy and drizzly here today. So, all right, so we can comment this out. But I still need. So basically, let's go through. So if you look really close, these are the examples that. So again, we're going to be looking for. So first it's the reverse. So let's do this. Length of last word. So of course, if we were to count backwards, this is a perfect, wonderful scenario, and then it gets a little janky here. So there is a variety of ways of doing this, because if you think about it, and I'll show you the one way I did it. And then I'll show you another way that after I did it, I thought about it. I was like, that's might be actually cleaner. I think the lighting's okay today. It's not great. Alright. Sorry. Trying to get my chair right so my chin... I don't think anybody else cares, but it drives me nuts when I look at my video and my chin is out of the screen. So I try not to slouch, but I slouch. My grandmother and grandfather would be very disappointed in me if they were still around. All right, so the last word. So I'll tell you the way that I did this. So let's comment this one out. Let's comment this one out. So my trick, because if I can get it to work on this, it's going to work on these easy ones. Let's put this into memory F9. There we are. So I now have this string put into memory. New. So if everyone, hey Vinky, how are you? I'm doing good. Hope you're having a good day as well. So what we're doing is we're looking at 2 more coding challenges. Sam is one Piece fan. Oh, Vinky, sorry, I'm lost. Sam is one Piece fan. Nah, don't get the reference. Or so, all right. So we don't want to count these characters. I just want the length of the word. So basically, also reverse. Have you guys seen? Oh, okay. Got it. No, I know nothing about anime, so that is one limit of my knowledge. Oh. Okay. So if I were to do slice, start, stop, step, think about that. So for I in X, then, so here's start at 0, go all the way to the end, go by 2's. So I do that to show you this. So didn't hit my mouse to do that. Start, stop, step. And then I do this, get 1, get everything. Or go in reverse. This is the easiest way for me to make a copy. And I can make a copy of, is it the full thing? Because we've kind of touched on it, and I haven't gone all the way deep down into it. But if you assign a variable to another variable, you have an issue. But when you use this technique, you're actually getting a true independent version, a true copy. But be careful when you're assigning. There's deep copy, there's shallow copy, blah, blah, blah. We can talk more about that at a later time. Yep, Vinky is perfectly correct. Go backwards. So if we come here and I look, and I can either do, we can come up with some sort of temp variable. So we're going to just go in reverse for letter, let's just do I. For I in X minus 1. All right, so I'm here. So then I just print out I. Let's just start here. So boom, I have this in reverse, but I got some spaces, so I don't want to count my spaces. So we've kind of tiptoed around this last time. So if you really start to boil all these challenges down, they're very, very, very similar. But that's the point, is to get you so used to it where they all start to look the same to you. So you get so comfortable that it's like I'm counting stuff, I'm iterating stuff, or I'm augmenting stuff. That's really all programming is from what I've seen. Now you get into the more advanced stuff, and it's still pretty much, it looks different to us right now as advanced, but it's still basically the same thing. You take in input, and then you have some output, right? So the magic box in the middle, sometimes we know what it's doing, sometimes we don't. So, all right. So now as we're iterating through, of course, we're going to need a counter. And we always have to have a starting point. That's the dirty little secret in programming. You have to start someplace. Actually, we might do that tomorrow, is finding the largest number and finding the smallest number, because I don't know. Yeah, I think we need to do that. Okay, so let's think about our rules. Because, again, if we can get it to work here, these other two are going to be simple. So if, and then I'll show you a little bit of a cleaner way that it dawned on me. I was like, oh, man, I should have done it like this. Let's see. A little bit of longhand, and then we use a little bit of the combination of tools of Python along with problem solving. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So now, if I, so basically, we also kind of want to know, because we don't want to count it if it's a blank, right? So we need to think about this. So because I want to go through and count letters until it is a blank, right? So I'm not going to count any of these. I'm only going to count this, and then I want to stop counting when I find a letter. So let's get this working, and then let's improve it. Temp. There we go. All right. If temp equal to 0 and I equal to equivalent, I should stop saying it. I really thought I'd break myself. Continue. So what am I saying there if you've not seen anything like this? So this is this is the Python of basically, is my last space a blank? Because I'm starting basically out here. So my, length of temp. I think somebody just put in a comment. Blank space. Boom. If it's at the end and it's a blank space. So what I'm going to do is every time through here, basically I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be incrementing to my temp variable. And whilst I'm looking, hey Dax, how are you doing? Glad to have you here this morning. 2 coding challenges we're looking at is length of last word, and then we're going to be reversing a number. I just found that one the other day. So what we're doing right now is we're going to walk through this string right here, and I hypothesize that if we can write for this string, these other 2 are going to be simple. So right now we are starting on the outside of the string, and we're going to increment into it. And the first condition that we've checked is, am I at the end, and is this a blank? Is this a blank? If it is, I just want to go right back up to the next letter. And here again would be the same condition. Here again, okay, wait a second. So now this is a character. So else we're going to try this. So else then temp increment I and counter increment 1. All right, let's try this. Let's see if this worked. And then print temp. Print temp. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, and then also if I equivalent to this break. So why am I doing that? All right, so let's kind of go through this. So I added one more if condition. I also want to stop. So then print len temp. Why am I doing that? Len temp. I think somebody else commented. Unfinished, how are you doing? Couldn't be here for a while. That's all right. Glad you're here now. So unfinished kind of showed up early on in the streams. Glad to have unfinished here today. So unfinished, what we're doing. Oh, that's not good. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought for a sec. I forgot what I had print. I'm like, why did a new letter come up? We stopped at noom or moon. So unfinished, what we're doing is we're doing 2 more. We've been doing some coding challenges from online platforms. And today's is we're going to look at finding the length of the last word. So we're given strings. And then we're also then going to look at, hang on, let me read Nico. Code wasn't working when any variable is set to a 2. It was because the letter wasn't uppercase. Is that for this example right here, Nico, or you were doing your own? Set to an uppercase. Yeah, you had the caps lock on. So what we're doing right here is we're going to be given some strings, and we're going to count the length of the last word. So I'm kind of just going through and how I see it in my brain. Oh, let's go over while we kind of have some folks here. Let me show everybody with this the neat and the optimized solution to this. I want to show you 2 cases. So yesterday's stream we were looking at, let's uncomment this out too so we can see it. So we were going through and we were capitalizing. Why is this throwing up? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I was showing that if we had an if and an else, an if and an elif, we could actually put that on one line, and you utilize or. I think Vinky just wrote something. I'll look at that in a second, Vinky. And we then had a solution. Yesterday I did try to convert integers to Roman. How'd you do on yours, Vinky? Were you able to get it? So here's the optimized. So with a nested, so in our last example that I just had at the top, I had an if and an elif with the same instructions. So we put an or. Now, I was blanking on this yesterday. If I have a nested if and then 2 else's which are the same, so I want you to think about this. For this to happen, this has to be true and this has to be true. So we're able to put this onto one line right here and remove one of these else's and shove it all the way down to here. So we've taken this right here and we've optimized it to now this, utilizing an and, because we have a nested if. So just wanted to share that tidbit. Vinky, were you able to get it? Test your website. What do you want me to do with your website, Nico? What all is on your website? All right, let's stick with this, and we can talk about that later. So we're here right now. So we have it's a 2D game browser and worked so much on it. 2D game test. Okay. Well, I'm sure it's great, Nico. All right. Well, I'm sure you've worked really hard on it, and I'm sure it's great. Let's see. So we're here. So we're at the end of the string, and if this first character is a blank space, go back up to the next character. If the next character, so basically it doesn't matter. I haven't added anything because it's not a character. It's not a alpha character. Nope, blank is blank an alpha character? I don't think so. But we're testing explicitly for a blank. Now, I want to go into what I'm doing here. So this is basically, if you think about this, have I not seen a letter yet? This is going to be moving and testing for everything here. Have I not seen a letter yet? Okay, so now I've seen a letter, and I'm adding to this letter, and I'm moving through. That's what's happening here. Now, also every time through, what it's checking is it's waiting for this blank space right here. Then I'm saying stop, break out of this for loop, and we're done. That is what I'm doing. So I'm checking if this is a letter. Cool. It's not a blank space. So I get to keep adding. So it goes back up here to the top. A letter. Okay, cool. Add it. Count it. Go back up here. Add it. Count it. Go back up here. Is it a blank space? Nope. Because we were fine. Okay. Oh, hang on. So then it gets to here. Adds the M. Now the next one through. Passes this test. Comes down here to the else. Starts to add, but actually what we really need to do is if we look really close. And this is wrong because that's 4. So let's check this out. This is in the wrong spot. Did anybody catch that? Thinking about using split the string and use bingo. At Vinky, that's what we're going to do next. So now this is close, but this is why I make a big deal about order of operations. It's in my head. I'm like, yeah, this will work. But I grabbed a blank space because everybody can see this is a short little word and this has a 5. So this is wrong. So this needs to be here. And then this needs to be else. Now let's do this again. Bingo. Now I have a correct answer. All right. So moon is 4. That's why I make a big deal about order of operations. Because the set of instructions in which the order in which you do them. I know it sounds silly, but you will get a partial answer correct, and then and then an incorrect answer. So I was really, really close, but I was over counting because my order was wrong here. Now, let's do what Vinky was saying, which this is what dawned on me after the fact. So right now we don't need any of this. So now we go. Does everybody know split? I think I still have. This is a very powerful tool in Python. So what it does, help.x help x.split. Be very, very mindful and get very comfortable with your help and your dir and your type. Let's see. All right. So what does split do? Return a list. So, all right, this is an important keyword if you're not super versed in Python. Return means create. So you'll see in place, you'll see return, you'll see return none. All of those mean something. So you want to make sure that you understand, will this create something or will this do it in place to my variable? You'll see in place and return none. Those mean the same. Those are interchangeable. All right. So if you look really close, I did right here. Oh, wow. Handled all my spaces for me. So what it does, let's go, and it defaults. Where does it say? Separates as a list of words. Delimiter according to split string. Discard. Here we go. None. So, separator. I wish there was some consistency between delimiter and separator and sep. But here it kind of covers all of it. Sep, the delimiter according to which to split the string. So it's saying I'm going to separate this string by looking for white space. That's kind of the building block of Python, indentation and white spaces for readability. So now we have this right here. And then we just go, this is completely legal, so watch this. So if I go type and do this, that list. So then -1. Completely legal. So then check this out. Boom. And I think this is exactly what thinking about splitting the string. So as you can see, Vinky was already way ahead of me. So if we were to take this and you pass in a string, I mean, so was split string, take in x, return len x dot split -1. We took all of this. I want you to just kind of be able to see this and see this in your head and know how to go about it. But as you can see right here, split underscore string and then x. Should use different variables so I'm not confusing you, because I think let's see, print must be string, must be string or none, not list. What? Let's figure that out. X dot split Oh, because -1. I didn't have. Did you see the error? There we go. Because I was trying to pass in a string as my delimiter, and that's impossible. It's supposed to be out here on this side because this is a string object right there. Excuse me. That is a list object, and I want the negative index. Is there anybody here who doesn't know negative indexing? Because I could, let's see. Let's see. Documents. Let me do bread. In case you do not know negative indexing, let's look at this. I want to show everybody this. All right. If you're super brand new to Python, which is fine. Oh, and if you are here and you've not hit the like button, please go ahead and hit the like button for me. I'd appreciate it. So we have 0. So Python is a 0 indexing language. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 numbers. We have 6 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, that's in forward order. Now, Python also came up with and said, hey, we need to be able to go backwards too. So since 0 is utilized, the last number starts, the last object in our sequence, we could do this as a string, we could do this as a list, it doesn't matter. The last, so all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs. All objects in a sequence, a list is a sequence, but not all sequence are lists, if that makes sense. So if it is a container, string is like a container because it has a front and a back, a beginning and an end, a starting point and an end point. It is a sequence. It can be indexed. So just a little bit on indexing right here in case you have never seen that, wanted to share. So Vinky is exactly right. We can take this and boil this down and have this be super, super clean. But I also want you to know how to do the longhand way because sometimes you will have examples like this where you're going to be given a challenge and it's going to find something that will not work with the built-ins. We had that yesterday when we were looking at capitalizing the letters. Let's look at that for a second. Yeah, this right here. So title and capitalize wouldn't work because they were going to look for and they were going to try to capitalize this G. So that's why being able to come through here and write a sequence, an algorithm, a program, whichever terms, a set of instructions that you would do it as a human, and how could you convert it? Now, all right, so we're done with this one. Now let's look at, let's see. Oh, reverse the number. Oh, yeah. I saw that one, and I was like, don't exactly know what I would do here. Let's see. Sorry, I was looking to see how I wrote this a completely different way. That's why I like doing these over and over and over again, because sometimes I will come up with a weirder way. I cleaned that up. So I did an elif counter greater than or equal to 0, and it's not a blank space, count 1. If I is a blank space, break. So, all right. Okay, the last reversing reversing the number. Hang on a second. Where did it go? Hope everybody is hanging in there with me. Hope everybody's doing well on this Friday at the end of everybody's work week. I don't know. I know some of you do have a more conventional work life. Like I said, mine right now. Reverse integer. Here we go. It says I solved this one. I don't remember solving this one. So let's see. All right, so here are our examples we need to work with. I haven't checked the lighting in a minute. All right, lighting's kind of really dreary outside, so I do not have a lot of front light coming in. All right. Example 1, of course, this is pretty normal. Pretty normal. So we got a negative. So we do have a little bit of an issue because the negative isn't back here, so it's not really. So we'll need to do this. And then so we have 120, and we turn it around and we get 21. Whoa. So let me start to visualize this. So it'd be 0, 2, 1. Ah, okay. That's where it did it. So if I were to take int and I do, let's see, 0, 2, 1. Let's make sure this will work. Okay. So, all right. So basically, what I'm seeing right now is this is going to be the problem. So 3, 2, 1, just visualizing going backwards. Now here is going to be a dilemma. 3, 2, 1, negative. All right. So we still need to do the negative 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with this. And I'm getting a warning from YouTube that my streaming is below the recommended range. Let's see my bit rate. 4700. Let's see. We recommend stream bit rate of, oh my gosh, it's asking for 6800. I've never seen it that high, but I don't get this error. All right, so let's get going through this. All right. I don't know if Nico's still here, but I did the oh boy. I'll deal with that later. Yeah, Nico, I did the all the slang put together, and yeah, I thought my oldest was gonna throw up. I started out with Skibbity, and he just said no. So all right, so we need to iterate through. So if we think about this, so if we're gonna be Rapish, how are you doing? If handled differently. Give me a little bit more, Rapish. So we need to just we need to take an int and we need to convert it in. So if I have an int, so let's see. I know I use x too much, but let's do 3, 2, 1. So then you can actually then, if you haven't seen this, you can convert this into a string. Nico, did you read my Discord suggestion? Ooh, when? I thought I unmuted everything. Sorry, Nico. Make a... Oh, no, I don't have time to do a big project, but once I make an error to start over, I mean, I kind of see the point in that exercise, but that's not real life. So I get what you're saying. So what Nico did is he sent an upvote for vote for a video on the Discord, and it was make a big project, and every time you get an error, you have to restart from scratch. I kind of get the point of the exercise, but we can actually talk about that for a second. When you get older, you want to practice what you want to be good at. So programming and problem solving is not like a drill that it would need to be precise in every single step. The goal of programming or anything problem solving or anything a large project is iterations of success with improvement. So, hey Vinky, how are you? Oh, that's not Vinky, that's Vicky. We got just about a half hour ago, but that was a while ago. But I had everything muted. So yeah, so whenever, because I've had plenty. Right. No, I get the concept of the project, but the first thing you do when you have a big project is you break it up into teeny tiny pieces. So it's digestible, so it's bite-sized, so it's easy to solve. So what my point is here is you don't want to be good at, because what you'll end up doing is you end up memorizing something. And that is absolutely the wrong skill set. You want to be good. You want to become good at investigating. You want to become good at, it's not like a sequence of moves or pass blocking or running a route where you have to do it instinctively. It's a completely different set of skills, programming, project management. And it's not real life. You wouldn't throw it out. You would make it better. You would bring in other people for different eyes of solving a project. But I mean, I get what you're saying, but no, that is I've already made enough mistakes in my life that I've learned that whatever you practice is whatever you do. So I want to be practice. Hang on, Rapesh. When you're doing a big project, you still break it up down to small pieces, and you get doing smaller problems. This is like this hour streaming. Yes. So exactly. So the last big project I did at work before I left, we basically didn't know. We knew the asks. We knew the requirements. So I was then tasked. I became independent and on my own without a project manager. So what I had to do was basically go through and build out, they called them epics, stories, and tasks. So the epic was the project. The story was basically all the teeny tiny functionality. And then the tasks, every task associated with that functionality. So as I went through, and I was building out everything that it was going to take. And also what it does is it helps you not be frozen and not freak out and not look at the entire project. You only look at the next little task. And the task may be an hour, maybe 2 hours, but it's bite-sized. And you're like, okay, this is so big. I'm an hour behind, or I'm this behind. Well, you just keep swimming, and you just keep going from there. So, all right, I think I've bored quite a few people. We dropped off. So, all right, let me get back going to this. But yes, Rapesh, 100% correct. Make it bite-sized and doable. But one last thing about the project was after I got done with all the documenting, all the going through of how everything was going to take, then we were able to see that it was going to take about 3 months to do. But we didn't know that until I spent all the time documenting everything. So that's why that is so important. All right. Okay. So documentation and road mapping. Oh my goodness. I had no idea. It's prep work. It's important work. It's storyboarding. You would not make a movie without storyboarding. It seems like a waste of time, but it gets everybody, it removes any questions, it removes any misunderstanding, and it removes any future wastes of time. So it's basically like insurance. All right, so first of all, we're just going to do something very simple. So if I get a number, an int, and I can't do int, what do you do during your free time during the day since you're not working at the moment? Depends on, well, I'm applying for jobs and filling out all the online applications and still trying to be sharp and reading posts and trying to reach out to people, emailing, messaging, doing things around the house. Things have gotten backed up. Like right now I'm working on the oven and I'm trying not to mess up working on the oven. But no, there's plenty of things. But my day doesn't get started till after everybody leaves, so I help everybody get out of the house since I'm not working. So my day is probably delayed by like 2 hours. Then I live stream for 2 hours. So it's probably midday. So then I might do a coding challenge here and there. But no, I stay busy. There's always something to do. But applying for jobs, tracking the jobs that I've looked for, researching jobs, seeing if the company is a real company before I apply. So lots of busy. All right. So we're going to take in I-123. Then we're going to convert I to our new string. Then we're going to take new and we're going to actually, let's just reverse it here. Nope. Actually, yeah. Let's just see, because our goal was to just get this one to work. Then we're going to run into our problem. All right. Then I-120. Come on. Let's see. All right, so wasn't converting. All right, here we go. Let's try this. Comment this out. So we had a false positive because that was not a string, or that was not an integer. Okay. Now we should be good here. Perfect. Now let's add our odd case, because this will fail. Let's see what happens. Yep. All right. So now we have to defend against this. So this step will not work. So we need to go back a step. Let's undo this and get it to here. Let's see. I think Nico just sent something. Let's see. What you got, Nico? Is that your website? All right. I'll try to look at it later, Nico. All right. Try using an accept variance error in case. Now, okay, you're close. Repeat, you're close. But how are we going to handle, because if we do the reverse, so let's just look and see what we have here. So see our dilemma? So it's not just a try and accept. It's going to be something else. So let's think. Well, but it's going to stay but look, the output stays negative. Okay. What do we do if it's less than 0? Well, let's think about this. So we need to do a test. So if we do a test, so let's not over engineer this. We can do this very easily. So I want you to think about this. So we're close here, but think about all the steps that we're doing in our brain. So if I take in this, I still get this. So before we reverse it, so let's kind of go back a couple steps. I'm kind of doing this mean to throw you off, to get everybody to think about this. No, I don't want to do that. If I do that, you'll get the answer. So we're basically going to reverse these, but leave this here, right? Return negative string absolute 0. Okay. I guess I see what you're saying, but I guess that, again, over clean, but I guess over engineering. Would somebody be able to read that and know what you're doing? You're really close, but is new a string? Okay. Or just watch this. This gets, so I get that. So can we make that cleaner and more readable? So new index 0. So new 1 to the end, -1. Interesting. Hang on, let me see something. Okay, now I'm a little perplexed of why that's not working. Because I'm slicing. So I get 3. Why is that -1 to 0? All right. Where do you want the increment value? Well, we don't. All right. I see this in my head. I can't explain it, so just hang in there. All right. So if I greater than 0, all right, then new equals int dot string I -1 else pass. All right, let's try this. This should work. Nope, that goes here. Bingo. Then comment this out. See, I have it backwards in my head. So sometimes I have to do that. So now we need to handle this. So we need to slice off. So we need to convert it to a string. Let's check this one. Convert it to a string. Oh, see, perfect. Okay, everybody hang in there. Order of operations. This is failing because, all right, this is where Python does great with some strings, but it's like alphabetical order. So, this needs to be in here. And I'll show you why. Comment that, uncomment that, run this. So I was converting this. So let me show you this. This is weird. This is where Python does good, but one is greater than 500. 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if you do them as a string, it doesn't. Because it looks at. I'm trying to remember. You can get a false positive. So, and again, order of operations. I'm trying to remember the example that we just did the other day. So I had this on the outside, and I was getting not the exact answer that I wanted here. So now it's falling into this bucket. So now we need to handle this right here. So this is, because we're not going to convert this. Yeah, actually we are. So let's do negative. And we're going to look right here. So now what we're going to do is basically negative equals string 1 so now I'm here, then new equals new. Let's check this out. I was a little shocked. It wasn't working exactly the way that I was thinking. So now then int see if this works. Bingo. All right, I think Rapish. Bingo. Do you have it reversed? Int new after that. Where were you going to reverse? So I like the new I index 0 because we're doing 0. You were slicing that out. That's perfect. Then the plus 1 dot. Well, you have to then reverse the 1 dot because I was shocked. So I got a false, or I got a really. So I thought this was gonna work. So what I needed to do is I needed to make a copy. So I'm starting here and I'm going in reverse. Oh yeah, that's exactly it. So I was starting here and going in reverse. So let's go over that for a second. Let's do. Is X still in there? No, I. So let's go over this for a minute because we need this to be negative 321. But right now it's here. And what I did is my brain jumped and Python tried to follow me, but it's like, but the rules you just gave me don't work. So technically I could put this, actually I want to try that, but the readability would go down drastically. I'm getting a little red. There we go. All right. Let's see. So the readability would go down. So I'm slicing this off, and I only want this. New string I. String I. String I is after that, new string I. Because I want to kind of go back to the slicing. So I thought when I did this, and then I did -1. So I thought I was being fancy and putting this all together, but I'm telling Python start here and go backwards. So let's look at it. Object. Oh, okay. Sorry. I equals I dot string. String in my parentheses. Sorry. So I. All right. So let's go back to our slicing here for a second. Not indexing, I'm slicing. So get very comfortable with what I'm doing here. I think Rapish. Let's see, new, bingo, len I. Well, we don't need. You can just go all the way to the end. The len of the I is overkill because I want the whole thing. So you can just leave empty here because that's a little bit redundant. I think I hate this emoji. And actually, you're gonna actually that will fail because the length of I, it will be out of range. So try that and let me know. That will probably fail out of range. So let's go through this really, really carefully. So I was like, oh, well, I'm making a copy of this, but I was merging the two of these. So let's go through because I was not expecting this output. And this is a very important fact in your Python journey. What the output is the output is correct. It is not what you were expecting. So you need to make sure that you're understanding like how far off you were. So I had to remind myself of the rules. Well, Python says I told it to start at index 1, and then I told it to go backwards. So it's going to go backwards until it runs out of spaces. I object in the sequence. So start at 1, which happens to be 1, then go backwards. Then I got -1, -1, and it ran out. Right. So that will work, but again, redundant, because we just want it to go all the way to the end. So we can just leave it with a colon. We don't need to pass in. We don't need to pass in an object. So I want to try this. So that would be that. And I really want to see if this will work. Yeah, so that's what I had in my head. But I don't know how readable that is. So let's kind of unpack this for a second of what I'm doing. This is completely legal. And I'm slicing an object, and then I'm slicing it again. So don't get confused. You can slice or rearrange whilst using. So when I do this, yes, I'm saying the whole thing, because I'm not passing in a beginning and I'm not passing in an end. So Python understands that's completely legal. But if I were to go and let's see, -1, what happens? So what is that? Starts at 0 and goes to -1. And what is I right now? So it's going to go up in 2 and not include the last one. Okay. But does everybody get what I did right here? Because this is what I had in my head. So let's go back one step. Let me get it. Let me do this so we can have this kind of both. So here's what I is right now. It's this negative number. Then I'm slicing off of it. So then I'm also then I'm reslicing it, but I'm not removing anything because I'm not passing in a start or a stop. I'm just basically saying do it in reverse. So what I had in my head, I needed to do that completely on its own. So we could really kind of do this here. Oh, let's see if this is readable, because right now I feel comfortable that that's more readable. But we could get fancy and let's see if we can do this all on one line. Just to see if we could do it. I like this because I think this is readable. I'm taking the string, I'm reversing it, and I'm turning it back into a number. Here, if it's less than 0, less than or equal to. Let's fix that. Less than or if I is greater than or equal to 0. Because what if we flip it, it's 0, 0, because this needs to be any -1. -1 would work if we turn that into a string. Ooh, I don't know. Would that work on a -1? Let's try this. I equals -1. We gonna get anything to crash? Okay. Stays with -1. -12? -21. All right, cool. All right, so just for giggles, let's see. We have I. Let's stick with our -1, 2, 3. Oh, I want to see if I can do this all on one line, but it'll kill readability. But just bear with me. I want you to have this. I want you to have this in your toolkit. Yeah, Rapesh, does that kind of make sense? That you don't want to be adding things that don't need to be added, if that makes sense. Overkill. There's explicit, in my opinion, and then there's unneeded. All right, so I is my negative 123, and I need this to be negative 321, right? Yes. All right. So if it falls under this bucket, it would be basically okay. So then 1 I don't know if the mic's too far away. All right. Then boom, boom, negative 1. There's my negative. Okay. All right, we can do this all on one line. How readable is that? Do we feel that that's readable at all? So I could boil this down to this right here. I feel like that isn't very readable. Wow. Let's get rid of that one. Does this work? Works. So just wanted to show you that you can compress this down. And that's what I had in my head. So does everybody get this right here? I know looks weird. I know it looks weird. So actually, I'm just going to go over it again because I think I fell backwards into it. And that's when you get to start doing this much after a decade, after 10 years, you're rewiring your brain, and it just kind of sequences into, well, how would I solve that? Because when I really wanted to start learning and solving problems, I was like, well, how would I program against that? How would I do that? How would I make a decision? How would I begin to pick? So how would we go about doing that? And the more you understand it, the more you're like, well, wait a second. So I'm taking this out, I'm reversing these, and then just adding this back in. So I was close when I was negative stepping. And then I just was like, oh, wait a second. It needs to look like this. So like I said, let me go back through this. Because if this doesn't make sense, I completely get it. This is not normal. And so let's go. Whoa. All right. Let's clean this up. Let's go back to. So I have I. What's I? I is my negative 123. So type. So you always have to know what you have as your type. It's an integer. All right. So I can't an integer is an integer. And right now we're going to reverse an integer. We're going to take the numbers and we're going to shuffle them around. Well, wait a second. I can't do that to a number, so I need to make it a string. All right, but I can't do something to a string. A string is immutable, but I can slice it. Or I can reorder it. Oh, wait a minute. I can slice it. I know features I can do with Python. So I take my I and I turn it into a string. All right, cool. So now I know. So since this is an object, this is completely legal. So let's just go back. So don't let yourself get confused. Whoa. That was dumb. So type on this string. Do you think Windows is better than Linux? I just prefer it. So let's see. And so now that I have a string, so don't let this fool you that this is something else. Begin to think about it as layers and what type of object it is. Be able to begin to try to program your mind to be able to see these as types of objects and how they can interact. Like we did it yesterday, where we were slicing a string, and we could use that slice, that index, as then a key in a dictionary to get a value. And when you get that to click, you'll get this a lot. So here we are. So now I'm going to slice this. Since this is a string, I can do slicing on a string. All right. So I'm close, but I need this at the beginning. So I know this is negative. So I need to get rid of, because I can tell you exactly what I would have done when I was starting to do this. I can already feel how I would have done this. I would have tried to handle this after the fact. I would have dropped the last one, and then I would have moved it around, and we actually can. So actually, let me show you how would we do that. And I would begin to already go and fix it and remove the last one. So then, Rapesh, you may like this. So I can already feel how I would have done this at the beginning. So if I would have gone negative to stop at -1. Yeah. So check this out. I want new equals there we go. There we go, new. So check this out. Let's see if we can slice this up. What do I want? I went from the beginning to -1 by -1. Let's see. Zero through -1. See how complicated this already gets? All right, len of new. Let's see what this does. So, yeah, I try to remember what it was like when I was new and how I problem solved. So there's good problem solving and bad problem solving. You can over-engineer very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. And what I've found is handling something at the beginning. There are very few hard and fast rules in anything in life, and especially anything in programming. But handling something at the beginning before you do anything to it, typically is the better way to do it. before it gets into something too crazy and you're over here trying to move this to the end. Excuse me, from the end to the beginning, because I can almost feel exactly what I would have done. I would have beat my head against the wall to reverse this string and then get part of this string, then move this from over to here, instead of just looking at this being a negative number. All I need is this. So I was going to see if we could do this. So I'm already into the weeds, so I apologize. Let's go back and let's get caught up on where we were. All right. So that is reversed, but let's do one more. Let's do one more step. So before we try to reverse it, let's just remove the negative number, and we can handle that later because it's all negative. So it's basically the big buckets, and I've been trying to work on this. Instead of trying to solve 5% of the problem and then solve the 90%, get it working 90% of the time and then go solve the 5%. And once I had that breakthrough, then I stopped doing stuff like this and I started doing stuff like this, because I was tried, and it's I don't know how much is genetic and I don't know how much is growing up in the environment that I had, was chasing down a detail was more important than getting something to work 90% of the time. So this is 90% of our time. This is 95 now, and now this is 100. So I started something super clean and elegant. Get it to work elegantly, and then continue to go from there. All right, so now that I have this partially, then what I did is, don't forget this is a string. And if you need to assign this to a new variable to do it, I get that. If you were to need to go through here, because we did it here, where we did this step and we got a string, and then we reversed it and we wrapped it in an integer. Okay, and then what we did is then we put it in an F string, included our negative number, and I guess technically we could have put this here. But for readability, I did this one step at a time. So after this int, we've kind of proved that you can, because you can't put an operator. So we proved this. So you can do this to a 1, but you cannot do an operator there. You'd have to do eval -1 closed. Now it gets that. So it has to understand, and it has to all be, and I believe it has to all be a string. You can't move this out here. Yeah. So it does not up, because again, you're mixing. You cannot mix two unlike objects in Python. That's about the only rule that Python can't handle. That is the plus of VB.NET. You can have a string, you can have a digit, and Python and VB.NET does not care if it is a digit or not. It understands that it's a string, and it will convert it back and forth from it will actually no, you can leave it as a string, a digit, and add to it. And VB.NET goes, all right, I understand that you have a digit here and you're wanting to add to it. I'm cool with it. Python's like, hey, we do a lot more for you, so we're going to need you to figure out that you have a integer and you need to go through. So, all right. So let's go back. We're about an hour and a half in right now. We're right here. So we're at this step right here. So I have now my chopped up my string of a digit, because we're going to add the negative later. So since this is a string, I can still do stringy stuff to it. So then now I've reversed it. So now I'm like, now I need this to be a string. Now it's an int, and now since this is an integer, I can do an operator. So that's what we did. All right, I think I've bored everybody. Sorry, that's my YouTube. I think I maybe have bored everybody, but I just want to really drive home these problems. And they're simple, but they're not simple. Our human brain can look at this and know what to do. And what I'm really trying to drive home is our brains do a lot more on our subconscious than we realize. It solves so many problems and fills in so many blanks. Actually, I was just watching a video last night of this marketing guy, and he knows he calls it, is it a psychological solve or is it an engineering solve? Because he goes, our brains really solve a lot of problems for us. So when we look at this, our brain skips steps. Our brain fills in the blanks a lot for us. Have you guys ever seen the one where you play the video of a word being said and then you play the audio of a different word, but it's the same motion, and it distorts, and you're not quite sure what word they're saying because your brain is reading the lips, processing, and your auditory is going, this doesn't match what their mouth is saying. So it becomes this gobbledygook. But then once they fix it, and because it's also the same thing as when you see the printed word, your brain will hear whatever printed word you see. And it's just, and I want to draw your attention to, when you're solving a problem like this, really try to understand what your brain is doing to solve it. And am I skipping any steps of how I'm doing this? And typically we are, because our brains go 1,000 miles an hour. Well, actually, probably closer to the speed of light. So millions of miles an hour. Because we need to solve these things and we fill in the blanks. So there we go. Anything pressing that we want to talk about? Because kind of flew through these today. I can't remember if how long it took. I think maybe tomorrow. I haven't done research on if I can stream from a platform and not get have a copyright issue. I keep forgetting to do that. I think it's fair use, but I'm not quite sure. All right, don't know who all we have left right now. My watch is yelling at me that I got to get up. I've been lazy. But yeah, it's funny. My watch thinks that I don't do any exercise. I only keep my watch on when I'm at the gym. I take my watch off when I do jiu-jitsu because it will get ripped off because you're grabbing wrists and hands and collars and sleeves. And it's a very, very interesting process. Jammed up my fingers pretty bad last night, or they're stiff. I didn't jam them. Sorry. Didn't jam them, but they're stiff. All right. I hope everybody gets this right here. It's a little compact. The readability, I don't love it. I don't love it at all. But it works. Let's go back here. Let's get rid of this one. Actually, no, I lied. Let's do this. Let's change this here. We can do this on one. I like this a lot better. You like the F string? Okay. I guess I felt that was a little lazy because, but it does draw your attention to it, right? Right, Nico? Or right, Vinky? Because sorry, Nico just sent me something on on Discord. I made something cool on the website, and tell me when you visit so I can continue working on it. Yeah, Nico, I don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't know when I'll be able to look at it, but I will. If you want any help with anything you have on it, just let me know. Where's that hosted? Where do you have that? Where do you have the website hosted? Because I guess I don't know. It's hosted on your PC? No, just to give you VS Code build a port using the VS Code build. Yeah, I'm probably, just to be straightforward with you, Nico, I'm probably not gonna check your website out just for safety reasons and everything, because I mean that'd be connecting your computer and my computer together, and I just probably won't be doing that. I appreciate it, but just to be completely honest with you, you sent me a video. Yeah, how about you do that? Make me a video and then put it. Can you send a video on Discord? Hey, Nico, do you have a? Well, yeah, you have a YouTube. How about you make a YouTube video and or stream later today, and I will jump on. I will do that. If you send me a Discord message, are you able to stream? Do you have software to stream on your computer? 'Cause I'd be more than happy to join you on a live stream, since you spend so much time. I can hang out for a little bit and watch your live stream, and you can show everything on your website. I'd be more than happy to do that. But let's see. I wanted to show you something, but it's copyright. Well, if you send it in Discord, it'll be fine. I won't air it. I have that off screen. Yeah, but you can send. Oh, you can't stream it because it's copyrighted. I gotcha. Yes, you will pick up a copyright strike. Then yeah, go ahead and make the video, and then I will watch it. Because are you able to? Can you post videos on Discord? I have no idea. I have an admin and a mod who help me out quite a bit and keep me out of trouble. But no, I love this community a great deal. Let's see. I can record a video and send the video file. Yep, I'd be more than happy to watch whatever you have on if you send it on to Discord. All right. So we have a few folks left hanging out. Thank you for being here. Anything? Because yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if the coding platforms, if you're able to. Let me move this. Let me do this. Let's change this to. I want to do this. I want to try something. Give me a second, everybody. Copy, paste. Not that. And also, and then return. Whoa. Return. There we go. Return. Return new. Because I think I've seen other YouTubers stream on coding platforms. Oh, I do have to change that back. X, 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 and there we go. Run code. Because I'd love for you guys to see these things, and I still missed an indentation. Still run code. Yeah, I got that off screen. That's probably not the best entertainment for you guys to be seeing. wondering what I'm doing off screen. All right, so sorry. But I think you're going to record it now. Awesome, Nico. I've been more than happy to watch. Yep, I'm killing everybody. Everybody's bored out of their mind going, what is he doing off screen? All right, so we'll wrap up today. We're at about an hour and 36 minutes. Hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Nico, I'll check out that video once you send it. I know it'll be cool. Don't know exactly what we're going to do tomorrow. Maybe we'll do some leak code programming challenges, because I still haven't solved that parentheses one. But we will wrap up today. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And we will see everyone tomorrow. Hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Thanks, everybody.